I'm Rob Colias, and I'm here with Kurt Suzuki, and this is a very special edition of the Maui News Sports Report. And gosh, Kurt, let's just start where we always do. How gratifying is it to be back here on the field that you played high school baseball on, and giving back into the community in this way?
Yeah, it's always special. Like you said, this is where I grew up playing, and this is where I play high school baseball, and it's always special. It's coming back and seeing the smiles on these kids' faces when they come out here, they're playing. They get T-shirts, gift bags, and it's just a fun all-around event.
And now, Kurt, you're coming off your first All-Star appearance. Your first year in Minnesota, you signed a modest deal. Now you've got a contract in place for the next few years. Just tell me a little bit, how special was the 2014 season for you?
Well, very special. With the success and all that kind of stuff, that's always nice. But the thing was, I was back to having fun again. Baseball was fun. Going out there every single day and playing the game that I love to do, and have fun again while I'm at it. You tend to lose a little bit of that feeling, and which rightfully so. It's a grind, it's a long season, but to get back having fun again, and being in a great city, and to make the All-Star team, I think everything couldn't have played out better. Yeah. And
you got to be an All-Star in your team city. How special was that whole experience?
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah.
With the fan fest festivities going on, just everything. The home crowds out behind you, and everybody was kind of telling me how it's going to be. I never really knew. I mean, just from people telling me, but to really see the ovation that you get when you get mentioned, it's a feeling that you really can't describe.
And really a career year for you as well, which doesn't happen for a lot of 30-year-old catchers. You hit 288. Did you surprise yourself just a bit in the 2014 season?
Not really. I've always felt confident in my abilities, and I've felt really positive in what I could do. And it's just one of those things that it just kind of happened. And in this game, once you get that confidence rolling, it just keeps going, and it could go the other way too, and I've experienced both ways now, and so it was a great time, and it was a great season.
And for a lot of catchers, once they hit that big 3-0 mark, things can fade just a little bit. How do you feel? You're now 31. How do you feel? Where are you at?
I feel great. My body feels great. I'm just taking it day by day. I really feel good. I really do. It's more the mental side, the mental break, and just that's kind of the most important part for me, is getting that mental break. But body-wise, everything feels great.
Tell me, how much of a home have you kind of found there in the Twin Cities in Minnesota? How comfortable do you feel?
I feel awesome. Family loves it there. The lakes, right by our house, so we, kids have fun, and it's just a great spot. It really is a great spot. It worked out perfectly, and I couldn't be happier.
And you've got that contract in place for the next couple of years with a third-year option there. How much does that do for just your psyche? Does that settle things down a bit?
I don't want to say settle things down.
Okay.
I think you get that security, obviously, which is nice for your family, and your family always comes first. But it's just one of those things where you now it's time to prove your worth. And everybody always says you get comfortable and all that stuff. I look at it the opposite, where you're making all that money, you feel like you have a lot to prove, and I want to just prove more to myself than everybody else that last year was something that is the norm for me. That's how I should play, and it doesn't happen that way, but you go out there every year to try to do better.
I know you had a real respect for Ron Gardenhire. How sad were you to see him go, and how excited are you to play for Paul Molitor?
Yeah, Gardy was awesome. He was an awesome manager, great manager, one of my favorites. He really kept the clubhouse loose, and I've got so much respect for him. And but he, like he said, it felt like it was time, and stuff like that. And you respect a guy like that, and that's kind of how he was. He takes ownership on everything. And with Molly coming in, it almost like he kind of, I want to say he demands respect, but with his accolades, Hall of Famer,
yeah.
The career that he's had, you almost feel that respect right away. You don't feel like you have to earn it, because he's earned everything he's earned the respect. He's with his playing and everything like that, and with him being on the staff last year, he kind of got to know a lot of players, and you get to know him on a personal level. And I mean, he's going to be great for us.
And how much potential does this Twins team have? How excited are you for the 2015 season?
Oh, I'm super excited. It's going to be a great season. We got some new additions. You got Torrey, Urban Santana. So we got a lot of young guys that are ready to make that leap. I feel, we got some really good talent, and it's just going out there and performing, and that's the bottom line. You can have all the talent you want on paper, but you just got to go out there and perform. And we feel that we're at that point where we can go out there and we can, compete and prove ourselves.
You're back in the American League, obviously, and that's where you've spent most of your career. How comfortable are you with, the American League circuit?
Really comfortable. I like the American League. Like you said, I'm there for most of my career, and I love the National League too. It's a good change of pace, but the American League I think is kind of where I'm at, and I don't know. I don't think it's really, you do better in one league or the other. I think it's just going out there and playing, and obviously there's different rules, but it is a different league. But for me, everything's kind of the same. The game's still the same. You just got to go there, play the ball, catch the ball, throw the ball, hit the ball.
And after the season you're coming off, do you feel like is there more of that? I mean, has that kind of, not that rejuvenated, but you feel good and you've got that confidence level? Are you ready to roll?
I'm always ready to roll.
Right.
I think I try to, what happened in the past, I try not to rest on those morals. I like to improve myself every single year, and I feel like there's always bigger and better things on the horizon, and preparing myself for that, I feel really good. I'm like I said, I'm ready to roll. Whatever happened in the past last year is last year, and now I'm moving on to a new year and ready to rock.
Here, just skipping around here a little bit, you're back on your home island where you were born and raised. What's it like when you come back to Maui?
It's great. Like you said, this is where I grew up. I got, my best friends are here, and this is where my heart is. And I obviously live in California now, and have a family up there. But this is always going to be home for me, and it's nice coming home, seeing all my friends and seeing everybody that I grew up with and all that stuff. So it's always nice.
And last question, what kind of message do you give to these kids each year you get to do this? What is the basic gist of the message that you try to impart to them?
Really just having fun, going out there, having fun, enjoying themselves, always, remember it's just a game. It's the game of baseball. You're a kid. You're supposed to go out there and have fun. Sometimes you get caught up in, you want to do so well, the success and the failures, and you get caught up in that kind of stuff. It's not good. As a kid, win or lose, succeed or fail, as long as you have fun, that's kind of the main thing, and that's kind of what I try to preach. And easier said than done.
Right.
Anybody can talk about it, but it's going out there and really, it really is just going out there and having fun.
We're here with Baldwin baseball coach John Viella, and John, this is an annual occurrence that Kurt brings to Maui, and how special is it that this clinic? How special is it for the kids?
I think it's really special. The opportunity they have to experience a clinic like this, to cover all the aspects of the game with with coaches who played, beyond high school. And then to have Kurt, who's currently playing, in the big leagues, come out and give his input also. So, the experience that they gain from this clinic alone is huge.
And Kurt does this with his own funds and with his foundation. How much does it say about the man that he comes out here and does this with the kids?
I don't think words can explain what type of person Kurt is. In short, he's very humble. He's a person who lives by the value of being PONO. And he likes to give back to the community. And then if you have time talking with him, you can see that he's still got that local boy blood in him.
Right.
Listen to him, he has his pidgin English. And you can hold a conversation with him. He's not one of those big league guys who don't have the time, for anyone. But, Kurt is totally different from that.
And he's given back to your program at Baldwin High School, where he starred back in the day. He's given back to you guys in a big way, hasn't he?
Oh, he did. He did very much. He helped us create our own hitting facility. He comes back and he provides instructions for our catchers, provide one-on-one instructions for our catchers. and then we pick his brain. The coaches pick his brain about hitting, about all aspects of the game, base running, fielding, and everything else.
Did it surprise you that he had the career year that he did as a 30-year-old catcher? That doesn't happen very often. He hits 288. He's an all-star for the first time. Did that surprise you in 2014?
You know what? It surprised us just to a certain extent because, we expected him to be there, every year, and we pull hard for him, and I think the word this year was exciting. It was exciting to watch him, It was very rewarding to see, how he goes and play the game, knowing where he came from, and his upbringing, raised by very good parents, have very good family background, and then played for us at Baldwin, so, we have high expectations for him. He's a hell of a player, so, I mean, we knew that he could, make the All-Star game, we knew he could hit well, so. It was exciting. It wasn't a surprise, because we knew that potentially he's a hell of a player.
And what does it say about him? He pays for kids from Molokai, Lanai to come to this clinic. That just says even more about the man, doesn't it? Takes it out of his own pocket.
Very. It's big time. I mean, his heart is so huge. He has, opened up the clinic to everybody he can. Being he's a Maui boy, we try to keep it in a Maui County. And the turnout from Lanai and Molokai has been big, so, everybody's excited, especially the Maui kids, but to do something like this, for the county of Maui, I think speaks volumes for who Kurt is.
We're here with Shane Dudawa, longtime baseball coach, former Molokai star baseball player back in the day, and Shane, just tell me, when you see this type of thing happening year after year and Kurt coming back to where he's from, what kind of message does it send about Kurt?
It sends a message, I think, to all our kids that Kurt's just such a humble guy. He loves giving back to the community. For the kids, I think it's an opportunity to see a local boy that's made it to the pros, that's become an all-star this year, and who's coming back and giving back to the kids.
And Kurt really never forgot where he's from, did he?
Not at all. He played here, he's come back and runs the camp, and this is a beautiful facility, and they've done a good job this year in taking care of the field, and yeah.
What are your memories of Kurt as a Baldwin Bear? Do you remember those days were you watching him play in those days?
Not really. I was back on Molokai when he was here in Maui.
Right.
So, I mean, just, I went up to New York this past summer and went to go watch the Twins play the Yankees, and he actually called me down towards the field, and they wouldn't let me get down towards the field, so he jumped over the fence down there, and he came out into the stands and started talking story with me.
And that's what Kurt is, isn't it? That's who he is.
Yeah, that's who he is. I mean, he's just a humble. He hasn't forgotten where he comes from. He hasn't forgotten his friends. He's just, he's a special person. We're glad to have him.
And when you see this group of kids behind us, and the fact that he pays for kids from Lanai to come over and kids from Molokai to come over on his own dime, and that just says even more about Kurt the man, doesn't it?
It does. He truly gives from his heart. He doesn't expect his foundation to take care of a lot of the things, like you see, he's on his own dime, he'll take care of this, and that's who Kurt is.
And when you think about just the fact that a young man who might have been sitting in these stands maybe back in the mid-90s, before he got to Baldwin, where he graduated from in 2001, is Kurt the kind of guy that these kids can look up to and say, hey, I want to be like that guy?
I think so, and not just on the field, but off the field as well. I mean, he's going to talk to these kids later on this afternoon, and everybody's got the dream to play in the big league someday, and it's something these guys can see. It's reality. That Kurt's made it to the big leagues. He's playing baseball and making a living by doing it.
When you think back to your days on Molokai, how much would an opportunity like this have meant to you as a youngster, maybe these kids' age?
Oh, it would have meant a lot. I mean, it would have given us a dream that we're as good as the rest of the world out there, and that's what we want to give to these kids, is that they are as good. You know, is to get that right opportunity at the right time, and maybe they can be the next Kurt Suzuki.
And now Kurt had the career year at the age of 30. That doesn't happen for catchers in the big leagues. Did it surprise you, or how did you kind of look at this all-star season that Kurt's coming off of?
Not at all, because he's willing to put in the time and effort to get better every single day. You know, he's not going to sit on his butt and let things come his way. He's going to get out there and work and change his routine. And, you know, we started with him a lot about the things that he's doing, getting in the swimming pool, doing some swimming exercises, getting up in the morning. And he said it's gotten harder to get up in the morning and go work out, but he still forces himself to do it every day.
Right on.